Here we are again. Suffolk, 14-inch punch, shed find. Welcome back. So, had lots of lovely comments on whether to paint it or not paint it. I'm all up for an oily rag and not making too much of a job of it. But I think the general idea, people have said, it's not original, the paint, so paint it and make it look right. There's a few little things that I know definitely are not right. Is obviously the red, it's a bit too dark. So that needs to be a lighter. The green, as I said, I think that's quite close to the original. It looks, you know, from what I've seen, it looks quite original, or as close to the original as you can. But the red certainly isn't. I'm just going to jig one up. I've got a bit of an original cowling here, so I'm going to get the camera lady to sort of come in and have a little bit of a look here, so you can sort of see the difference. It's more of an orange than a red. So I think I am going to strip this and then paint it and do a proper job, go right through it. So it's going to be strip it, engine off, we'll probably take the head off, have a look. We may need to put rings in it as well, regrind it as well. So we'll do the works. And another little thing, one of my fellow Old Lawnmower Club members mentioned that I didn't mention, being an early Suffolk punch, this one doesn't have the little dog clutch which is on the side. The later ones had a little dog clutch on there. So what we've got here is there's a freewheel sprocket in there. It's loose. I've had as you can see, I've had a little peek in here already. The only problem is with this, I mean, it was obviously an improvement, the dog clutch, but it's a bit of it pushes forward all right, but it's a bit of a pain, this thing, pulling it backwards, because you're trying to drive everything. When you've got the dog clutch on there, you can disengage it, and then it's easier to pull backwards. So we'll see what it's like, so we'll get that off. So there we go. So we've got this little, it's like a bicycle, a sort of a rocket sprocket type thing. It goes one way and then locks the other. Later ones had this dog clutch that you could sort of pull out, twist it, and then engage it when you're ready for action. In fact, here we go again. Jonesy's going to get his Suffolk book out again. So let's have a look. So I've been having a look through the Suffolk book, and there we have it. So we've got the 54-55, which I think, as per we've looked at the flywheel, all fits together. And as we can see here, we've got this little rocket sprocket, no hole in the chain cover, and no clutch dog. So that fits with that. If we turn over the page and we'll have a look here. So we're going on here. So we've got 57 on the date. And as we can see, we've got the dog clutch there. Items there, little hole in the chain cover so you can disengage it. An improvement, no doubt. So that I didn't mention. So it's another little feature, if you want to call it a feature, on the early Suffolk. So without further ado, let's get down and start stripping. So I think I'm going to disconnect the throttle cable first. Take that off. And then the engine should come off. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 bolts, and hopefully the engine will come off quite easy. I think the plan is, I think what I'm going to do is do the engine last. We'll get cracking on the mower. Otherwise I'm going to end up with lots of bits all over the place. So I think the engine's going to be probably the last thing, but we need to get that off. Being a Suffolk, should come off quite easy. 2 more here. So hopefully, all being well, a little wriggle, or a big wriggle maybe. We're going to need a little bit of a... There we go. Right. There we go. So, my favourite centrifugal clutches. Big fan of those. No belts to muck around with. Just a nice centrifugal clutch and chains. So, the engine's off. Let's get that out of the way. Put that down there. So, I think the thing to do is handles off next. Here. Quite pleased to see that the original throttle cable's up there. I'm right, a throttle lever, should I say, which is quite nice. I do like these old throttle levers, rather nice. You can adjust them and tighten them up as well, so rather nice. So we've got 2 coach bolts here either side, and then the handle is slightly sprung into the frame. Put this off. Should really be using a ring spanner here, but handles are on these pins inside the frame, and they're adjustable, which is rather nice. So handles out of the way. Right, I think the thing to do is get the drive gear off it, and then we'll start pulling it apart. So probably so we're going to disturb this sprocket. We might not need to touch that one just yet, so I think probably the thing to do is for me to remove the chains. So somewhere we've got a link. Let's tip it up and see if we can see a connecting link. That's what we're looking for. Sounds rough, doesn't it? I think it sounds better than that when I finish with it. Long time coming, this connecting link, this elusive connecting link. There's a chance there might not be one. Sometimes with these things they're not. I think I've nearly done that complete cycle on that, so I don't think there is one. So let's have a look there. See one there, so we haven't got one there. So I think, yeah, it looks like we haven't got one. So I think maybe we'll try and undo that, and then we'll just see if we can get the whole assembly off then without, I think we can't do that, so let's... I think this is probably the way to go. Unless the clip is on the inside, which is quite possible. So off the cutters. There we go. And then the back. So there we go. I'll keep those intact. So we'll try and get the sprocket out. So as I say, it's keyed. You can see there's a little slot there. Camera lady zooming in. That's it. So there should be a little Woodruff key in there. So let's just have a go. Okay. So there we go. I'll turn it round. We don't want to lose that. That's a little Woodruff key. So we need to get that out, and then once we've got that out, the rest of it's apart. Hopefully the roller will come apart. So we're going to get the cutting cylinder sprocket off. Looks like somebody's put this little rubber on here, and for some reason, oh, look at that. There we are. So somebody's used that as a substitute for a nut. And we've got some dodgy threads, so another little problem to deal with. So let's see if we can get that off. There we go. And it looks and sounds like I've just dropped the little woodruff key. It's down there. Anyway, we'll try and find that. So we're going to get the side covers apart. I think it is just 2 rods either side. We've got the bottom block screws and then the engine platform screws. The engine platform has got 1, 2, 3, yeah, three either side. We've got these nice big slot head screws, 6 in total. So let's see if these are going to come out. I think luckily, as I said, it's been in a shed. It's not been out to the elements directly, so everything seems to be, so far, coming apart quite easily. There we go. My camera lady's doing a very good shot of upward shot. So do that, another one, and then we'll go for the other side. Let's go back to that one, see if we can get on that one. Yep. Last but not least, let's get that clean out. There we go, good. Right, at this point, we should be able to expose the roller and the cutting cylinder. So let's have a little wriggle. There we are. Engine platform off. And that's the bolt that secures the intermediate sprocket. Right, let's turn around. Oh, we're already coming apart. We'll undo the other bolts, bottom block. Not very often you see somebody using a speed brace like this. Do like them though, some of the old stuff's lovely. Put the nuts on. I'm probably going to do the same thing, start labelling things like these rods. Because I think, not sure if they're the same back and front, but we will label them. That one. Thank you, Mrs. Camera Lady. So there we go. So, thank you. Right, so. Side frame. You can see it's got a nice bronze bush in the roller. I'll check that. See how much wear is on that. cutting cylinder comes out as a cassette form. So I think that's going to be a stripped down job for another day. Front roller's nice and easy, just drops into the bracket. And the roller should, let's swing it round, come out. There we go. Yep, and we've got a bit of meat on the cutting cylinder, so as we can see, we've got some meat to play with, so that will sharpen, I think, okay. And probably a new bottom blade. Looks like we've got some work to do. Missing screw there. New bottom blade, screws, sharpen it up. I will probably take that apart another day. Probably do a video on that one. And this is going to give me plenty to get on with. So yes, I think the next video might be stripping that down. I've got that to start doing. So cleaning it up, sandblasting, and the engine's going to be, as I said, I think the last thing. We'll do the engine last thing and get cracking on the mower. Oh, well, I'm here. I must show you something exciting. I thought it was quite good. Now, let's have a look. I won't go into it too much, but I'm in the middle of doing another Suffolk engine. Now, this is one of my corporation engines we've got here. In the middle of doing that. Now, as they do, you can probably see the camera lady zooming in. It's very worn in there. It's obviously had some not enough oil changes, or probably been run low on oil. But anyway, I thought, being I've got a few Suffolk engines around, I thought I'll get myself a good second-hand conrod. Now, I stripped an engine and found a conrod, but you have a look at this. Now, this conrod came out of another engine. Now, the engine at the time was running at some point, but what do you think of that? We'll put that down on the device. Look how distorted it is. We'll turn it over. It hasn't, you know, I thought to start with, I thought somebody's repaired that. But you can see, and I'm just going to lay it on the ground here, and I'm going to get the camera lady to come back and have a look. So, Mrs. Camera Lady, if you come and have a look here, can you see, we just turn it over, and then we'll turn it over again, and you can see, can you see the difference? Can you see how distorted, buckled, whatever you want to call it, that conrod is? Get there. And nothing there. So, and that was running at some point. So I think it proves just how good these old Suffolk engines are. They really are very good engines. It probably ran a treat. Not a lot of engines might cope with that, but the Suffolks do. So yes, luckily I've now managed to get another conrod. So that engine, I can get on with that. But as always, I've got lots of things on the go, and I need to get cracking. It's getting cold out here, so I'm going to wish all the YouTubers a lovely rest of Sunday. And next week is either going to be a bit more on this, depending on how we get on. Yeah, I think that's probably going to be the next one. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video, and you're sitting in your warm place, wherever that is. This garage is quite cold, like everywhere else in the UK. So we're going to knock it on the head. Thanks for watching, and see you on the next video.